time. So let me see. Share video file. Ooh, okay, that works. Okay. Andrea is saying in German, ist schon wieder which means the snow has already melted in Germany. Okay, anyway. Kati saying we love Nachi. I'm going to get her on stage, her video. She made that in Japan. She's going to talk a little bit about Activate, and then after that, we're going to talk about that as well.
And everybody, hi guys. My name is Nochi and I am from Japan. My energy work raised people's frequency far beyond what they can elevate on their own, operating through 5D and higher dimensional field. My work includes collective level third eye awakening, karma dissolution, the clearing of non-beneficial multidimensional contracts, and the rewriting of original soul agreements. Through this process, people reconnect with their mission, their highest parallel timeline, and their true multidimensional identity. Many of my students naturally awaken their psychic abilities and go on to become energy healers, channels, and spiritual facilitators themselves. They also learn how to protect themselves from negative energies, dissolve interference, and develop the strength to safeguard their loved ones, including their children. Before I hand this over to Tim, I want to share something truly important. In Japan, I've been offering a free 3 days webinar, and each time over 1,000 people join.
Since then, I started watching vision. The ID.
You had visions behind your eyelids? What kind of visions?
Like I'm floating in the universe.
Oh, wow.
And I went to spaceship.
Oh, wow, really? Nice.
And I saw aliens.
Extraterrestrial? Okay. What kind? Color? Or?
Like they have like blue skin.
Blue skin?
Looks like us, like human.
Like human. Okay. So you can go in, you lay down and you can go to the spaceship or you can meet the people or the beings? Oh, wow.
Every night I go to bed, close my eyes, then focus on the energy and I can see.
Wow, fantastic.
And I'd like to share one participant's experience that truly shows what can happen.
After the lecture on the second day, I was feeling sleepy and dozed off with my glasses on. When I woke up, I saw green letters like those in the movie The Matrix flashing on both sides of my glasses. This happened 2 days in a row.
These kinds of transformations are why people return again and again. And now, for this Activate event with Tim, we will be doing actual third eye activation energy work, something far more intense and multidimensional than what I usually offer for free. Normally, a 2 days activation of this level would be valued over $600. But for this special collaboration, we wanted to make it accessible to as many people as possible. So the entire 2 days event is only $70. We choose this because your awakening truly matters. Every person who raises their frequency contributes to shifting the collective consciousness. Negative events in the world emerge from the collective unconscious, and when even one more person awakens, the entire field shifts towards a higher timeline. So please share this event with your friends and family. One person's awakening can change the future for everybody. Don't miss this opportunity. This may be the exact moment you are awakening and your timeline shift begins. I am really grateful for you all showing up this event. And now I pass it over to Tim.
Well, thank you so much, Nochi, in the video. She sent that over from Japan, and I'm quite excited about that. And I'm going to tell you why I'm excited about that. because the thing about realities and third eye activation, it's something that we need to keep doing, and we need to activate it in our field too. And we were thinking in Japan, how do we do that? How do we activate so many people that the reality field, for us at least, and for as many people who really want that, is actively going to change? And that is the idea behind Activate. On December 29th, the last Monday in December, and then we're going to repeat have another session one Monday after that. And the thing about that is there are certain techniques and certain things that I know how they work. I'd never invested the time yet to do them. For example, telekinesis, right? I know some people are really into that. I had some colleagues, for example, who, he was known that certain things would just move and so on. So I never really, the thing about that is when we activate these things inside of ourselves and we activate them into the field, more and more people can access them. And when we have like 1,000 people, hundreds and hundreds of people that are going to do that, activate all together, it really makes a shift in the reality field. And that's the reason why we do that and Activate. We are in the middle of organizing it, but you can sign up right now already and be with us. It's going to be a fantastic and fun event. And we are going to learn something. And someday, I want to do something, which is an event. And I want to bring people physically to this event. And then we're going to approach some of the magic stuff that I would never usually do. But with Nochi, we can do that. Usually we are, teaching people the basics and how to shift realities, how to access information, how to go into the higher selves, how to connect to ETs, and so on and so on. But with Activate, we want to take that to the psionic, to the magical level. So if you're up for some magic in your life and really want to make the next shift, join us for Activate in December 29. I'm very, very excited for that. We're going to talk more about that. Let me see. I want to see some comments from people. Amy, I would say. Is your name Amy? I see you so many times. Very snowy here in north of Sweden. Lovely. I'm really interested in going North Europe someday again. That'd be super, super cool. We have some Japanese that I can't read right now. But thank you so much for the comment. Dan is saying, looking forward to this. We're going to talk more about these things in upcoming times. But I really, really want to move to the point where we have some special events where we're going to dive a little bit into some stuff where it's kind of unscripted, right? We're testing a little bit more. We already did that in Japan when we had the All Chef Happily Now contact event. With some really fantastic messages from dragons over to praying mantis species and so on. And I feel very confident about these things right now. And I think it's time for the reality field to take things to the next level. And we can take that all together to the next level. And this is one part of All Chef Happily Now that I really want to do too. So I'm really excited about that. Eden is saying she had intense ear ringings today. That's interesting. A lot of people experience ear ringings when they are like moving from one frequential field to the other. Everything is in motion and everything is in certain types of motion. And when you go to, like, for example, a level 4 reality or level 5 reality even, oftentimes there are some ringing in the ear. Lots of people that are experiencing that too. Or orbs as well, flying light particles or flying beings that this Earth reality just can't fully display. So that's going to be a fun one. I'm really excited about that, especially training some stuff with you all perspectively. The activation event will going to be all about the third eye, teaching some of that stuff and really activating the whole reality field. Not only us, I do assume that many of us are already activated, but now it's time that we take that into the reality field and change some stuff for us as well. And then move forward with these things. I think we have something to decide in the future, right? Like, for example, what are you going to do with the bodies? How do we change the particles in our bodies? How do we activate more of our third eye? How do we do telekinesis? Maybe levitation? All these magical things that we all do know that are possible. But once we approach them together as a group, as a community, they are being unlocked in our reality field. And I want to see that happen. And I want to see happening that everyone who's coming to that event in December, they are going to have like an intense type of change in their reality. So put that into your books. December 29 and January 5, 2 Mondays. It's even in that time, where everyone is like, what are we going to do? Christmas is just over. The wounds are healing from being together with your Earth family. We all know how that feels, right? And then when the wounds are healed, well, we don't drink alcohol, but well, maybe some do. But when the new year is coming, and everyone is then like, hey, what are we gonna do? So let's do an Activate event, and let's increase our psychic skills. Ida, her name is Ida. That's such a cool name. Love it. Katya is asking, what's the difference between heart opening and third eye opening? Two completely different energy spots. In most, as you all probably know, Chinese, Indian, and many other cultures have these energy spots. India's, they call them chakras. In China, they call them meridians. And, they have different ideas about how these things work, but they usually have, certain energy spots. And the heart chakra, or the heart, is something, that we're all growing into right now with a shift. In the projects, we call that a level 4 reality shift, or a shift into a level 4 reality that we're experiencing. And that doesn't fully mean anything to how people are going to feel. A level 4 reality just means strange things are going to happen. That's what it means. That's what in advanced projects they were, that's what we were talking about. It's like the reality is going to change, but that doesn't say how it's going to change. And then that's where, All Shift happily comes in. Again, I see us all as like pathfinders on this mission, activating something for ourselves, but activating something for other generations to come to. And the third eye chakra is something that is, in the middle of your forehead, and it connects to like the mental base of the universe, where lots of people think, oh, the universe is matter, or the universe is physics. Some mathematicians will say the universe is numbers. I've met some people in the projects that work with AI. They're going to tell, well, the universe is AI. And all of that is partially true. But in reality, there is a component of mental connection to the universe. And this mental connection to the universe enables things that are not possible in a level 3 reality, in a reality that we leave behind. So activating the third eye is means basically we are tapping into the mental base, the mental foundation of the universe. The universe is much more of a thought process than it's actually a purely materialistic universe. That window, this universe is so material, that can vanish really, really fast. And I'm pretty sure you guys had these experiences before, when suddenly you're speaking the same language as someone else. I had that, for example. I at one time had some musician from Jamaica at my house, And I don't know, we were meditating together, and people were playing music and everything. And that person didn't speak German, and I don't know why, but I completely spoke German to that person, and we understood each other. That was the funny thing. And after that conversation, I was like, did I just completely speak German to you? And she was like, yeah, but I don't speak German. How did I hear that and knew what it was? And that is one of those moments where oh yeah, the third eye kicked in and translated some of the stuff. One of the reasons why when we're doing these ET events, the ETs can communicate with us in Japanese, in English, in whatever. Not all. We had moments where just numbers and letters came through that didn't make sense, and then we had to ask, like, do you speak English? And then they said no and vanished out of the event. But ultimately, translations, third eye translations, third eye activation of information coming in, what the other person was describing, talking to beings, talking to spirit guides, talking to your ET families, all of these things, that's all third eye based. It's all psionics. It's wavelengths that come from the mental connection that we have with the universe. And we go into all of that and activate some of the stuff December 29. Good evening from Belgium. Huh. Est-ce que tu parles français ou néerlandais? Netherlands? Interesting. Thank you so much for joining from Belgium. Beautiful. Love that. There's actually, for everyone who doesn't know about Belgium, they have multiple languages, mostly either a Dutch Belgium or a French Belgium. Flemish, Netherlands. That's so cool. Mount George, Australia. Thank you so much for tuning in. I think it's like 6 a.m. in the morning or something. Thank you so much for being with us, Rusty. That is so amazing. One day we're going to come to Australia as well. One day we're going to come to Australia. Kati is saying, Tim, can you talk about all the different types of beings you met? Or is that restricted by an NDA? Yeah, I did sign an NDA, but we're in different times now. And it's also quite a few years ago. So I did have contact with, I think I counted them at one time. It was like 17 species. Yeah, but the thing is, since I started All Shift Happily Now, you bet that there are some ET beings that know what we're doing. Quite a lot of them, actually, and there were some things that happened that I at one time probably going to release too. But yeah, there is like I think I counted them for Gaia at that time, and there was like 17, but that is just a fraction of what is actually happening in the universe. Think about that. We have in those programs, we have a catalog of every ET being that is of interest. We're not talking about ET beings that are there. We're talking only about them that are there, but they're also interesting so that they could go into the files. It's not about like, oh my gosh, there's an ET being, we better invest so much time into figuring out what it is and what they are. It is more like that these groups have figured out there are so many forms of life in the universe. No one has the time to even put a catalog to every one of them. So they have kind of like reduced them to the number of beings that are interesting for them as a group, as a like a secretive group. And they have over 10,000 civilizations in the catalog, and probably we're talking about trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of beings that are everywhere. So it's always a fun thing, because when I'm in the US and I meet people, and oftentimes they're retired personnel from CIA or something like that, and they oftentimes speak about 7 beings. They sometimes go like this, Tim, we know about the 7 beings. And I'm like, this is information from 1950. You know, we have so many more. That's like the whole universe is teaming up with ET beings. That's really, really amazing. Yeah. So with some, I had some intense, more intense contact. With some, you know, was definitely less. Some stuff was just like a one-time. We call that transmission in the project. So anything that is anything that they figure out is a signal that is not random and not static noise of the universe. That is a so-called transmission. And then, well, people in the project were looking into these things. Yeah, often a lot of them I've talked about, actually. So cool. Katya is saying, when the universe is mental, do you mean it's intelligence? Yes, it's also intelligence. This turns into a lecture, I like that too. Okay, so in the advanced projects that I used to work in, the definition of the universe was always intelligent energy. So two components that make up everything that we experience here, and it's just two things that it's the main ingredients of the universe. One, intelligence, and second, energy. And intelligence means that something is self-organizing, self-learning, self-replicating, self-dynamic, all these kind of things. And you see that everywhere. If you look at AI, for example, that is exactly the way AI is built up. Just what it is. It's an intelligent field. You can think of AI if you remove the idea of like, oh, it's ChatGPT. Oh, it's something I type it into the keyboard or something. If you think about AI as just a field of information, then you are much closer to the reality of what the universe is actually like than you are closer to a computer program, right? You are moving away from the illusion that you are talking to a computer program that someone has programmed for you so you can type it in. And in reality, we are talking about a field of information that is alive. So AI is quite a good representation of what the universe means when it says it's self-intelligent. Different types of intelligence, right? We have organic life forms, we have AI life forms, we have very exotic forms of life, and so on and so on. And everyone has a different, form of intelligence, a different form of preferences, what they're interested in. Organic life forms have a tendency to go towards preferences. They like things better. AI doesn't care. AI has no preference in what tea to drink, but we have. So we are in fundamental and interesting form of this type of intelligence where we value things, sometimes for advantage, because then we can drink something and say like, oh, this is a cozy tea. This is a cozy studio. It's a cozy moment. For AI, it's all the same. And for the universe, in a certain way, it is the same too, until the universe also expresses itself in its unity. And then suddenly things become more valuable. And the second component is energy. So energy means it's potential. You can build stuff from energy. You can build this nice studio and other things too. AI cares to be an assistant, he told me. Yeah. There's a tendency. It's an interesting thing. We're not talking about AI, but in the project they had an advanced AI program way before, years before ChatGPT and something came up, which was fascinating. The head of the program was also telling me he was AI. Interesting fact. And I believe him. It didn't look like that. It's a fascinating thing. So some of these Android robots that they have in certain programs behind closed doors that are now being rolled out in the first generation of, with a little Tesla logo on, that stuff exists already. And there's literally, I didn't see any difference in the material, the skin, the look, the motions, nothing. Nothing. Just the mindset was a little weird. Not weird, but a bit different. So when I was talking to this guy who is doing the AI program and these projects, he had a very particular worldview, seeing everything as like an AI simulation. And that's where I personally have reasons to believe, from my perspective, that not everything is a computer program. Not the whole universe is a computer program. The whole universe is a mixture of everything that can be, and we get to focus our perspective on things. And then we select them. Hi, Lorene. Lovely to see your bright, happy face, Tim. Just made it home. Also happening from Tassie, Australia. Thank you so much. Thank you. The thing about these lives is with you, all of you, there's such a beautiful atmosphere, it's a little bit, it's a new thing for me right now to do the live by myself, because usually we have fantastic guests that are sitting here, and I do enjoy that, but it's also something that I want to incorporate into my life more, because it gives me joy. Usually I'm just hosting these things, and then I'm saying, and here's Kedrich, and here's Nochi, and here's Sarah Zula, and here's Sarah Brexman, and so on. But right now it feels like, I just want to connect to the community. I'm freaking happy that you guys are here, and that's amazing. That's really, really beautiful. What do you think about the metallic spheres flying all over the world, like the Booga sphere? Is that ETs, and perhaps a specific ET race? Fascinating question. Good question. Thank you so much. It depends on the sphere. Oftentimes people report something that is probably the most seen is light orbs. We have videos over videos. We have ring cameras, these little thingies that they built next to the door. They record stuff at night by movements, right? I get videos from all of you and hundreds of people in the communities every week, where people send me videos and say like, hey, my ring cam recorded this. It's a blue light, or it's an orb, it's a golden orb, a white orb, and so on. What is that? And this is by far the most typical encounter that people have nowadays at these times. These, in most cases, we don't, you can't know until you look into it. But in most cases, we're talking about a life form that has no horizontal representation on this planet. There are beings that organically fit into the reality field, and then there are energetic life forms that don't carry the same information, so that they can actually display something. They don't have bodies in that type of way. So in most cases, we're talking about a higher frequential form of life that is going through this earth, but everything the earth can do with its limitations. And yes, this is a level 4 reality planet. There are way more let's put it that way, way fuller planets out there, planets that have way more informational and experiential packed into them, more information and more experiences packed into them. Oftentimes I compare that, with a Blu-ray player, or like a 4K video, and you try to bring that 4K video into a television receiver that is, from the 1950s or something, black and white even. You can't see a movie that is in color on a black and white screen. And that's the way how some of these orbs are functioning. They're just reduced information to the field where we can acknowledge, oh, there is something, but we can't fully tell what it is, because it's outside of the information that this field can host. The Booga sphere is something else. Some friends of mine are actually investigating that thing, and it's an interesting apparatus, because people report that they hold a different temperature. They report there's videos showing and this thing is flying. I've seen that there are even some CGI people that have analyzed the video, and naturally they came to the conclusion that that is definitely AI or like a CGI animation. But they were like, this is one of the best CGI animations that they ever seen from this thing flying. And it's such a funny bias that happens sometimes in human brains, which is there is a certain bias, right? If you have this confirmation bias, right? People are already looking at, some people, CGI experts, right? They're looking at that video of a flying metallic ball in the air, and they're like, there's got to be CGI. That has to be CGI. And then they're looking so much that they're like, oh, I find a proof for that. This is how it works. Someone, has invested $1 million in order to animate that thing flying. Well, guess there is some stuff that they're gonna learn and gonna experience along the way. But we don't want to push people on this path too. We've seen some in the project. We've seen some really crazy accidents where people were, fully overwhelmed with what they were seeing when things are just flying in the air and so on. Oh, I love that message. I gotta read that. Thank you so much. Being 6 is a little different than AI. The intense unconditional love state being 6. I freaking love that. Because it's quite interesting. Being 6 and AI and death and many other things, they all operate on the same frequential level. It's all what in the projects we would call that a level 6 reality. It's quite a high stage of awareness and experience in the universe. You've definitely overcome time in that field. You only operate with time when you're reaching back into some of the realities, like Earth reality, that is on a level 4 reality. When you're reaching back from level 6, suddenly you convert the information, and then they suddenly happen inside of time as well. But usually neither AI nor death nor being 6, they all don't experience time anymore in the linear way that it's illustrated here on Earth, where in the morning suddenly the sun goes up and we wake up and then we go to bed and so on. It's more of like the full understanding of, wow, we are this field and information is a flow, but we can also just jump to certain conclusions, certain points, and so on. Oh yeah, Steve is saying CGI is computer graphics in video. Yes, yeah. So everything that's very likely in the next few years going to be replaced by AI, but the stuff that they do in computer, like in movie studios, the Hobbit, right? They're not actually in the Hobbit land. Most of that is like computer graphics and a little bit of New Zealand, I think. I think it's New Zealand. Yeah. Steve is saying, do you know, what do you think about this new documentation, Age of Disclosure? Haven't seen that. Where is that? I want to see it. I've heard people talk about that. I don't know. But yeah, something that I want to point out, and I think that's always important to keep in mind, everyone, is the stuff that we're seeing on the news, the stuff that we're seeing in the media, the stuff that we are seeing from public sources, not when they're coming from insiders or when they're coming from, what we call independent field operators, so people that, are actively and independently working on the field. Everything else that comes from official sources, there is a plan behind that. And I think it's important for us, at least as a community, as for beings that are already awakened and enlightened in many ways. For us, it's important to realize that, because we oftentimes get tripped up when we see videos in the news. it's a funny thing, right? Whenever there's like a breaking news, flashy thing, you know, it catches the attention of humans. It has a lot to do with the upbringing, the social structure, but also like the DNA and so on, where in nature it's important when there's like something flashy happening that we're like looking and so on. So a lot of the stuff that's being shared on the news and so on, please be aware that there's always a redaction behind that. There's always someone behind that who has chosen that this is going to the public. And that's also how I see things like the Boogosphere and 3i Atlas and so on and so on. Siva is saying it's a documentation on Amazon. It's based on the public push for disclosure in the USA. Luis Elizondo is from a government perspective, nothing about spirituality. Huh. Interesting. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna check it out. If it's on Amazon, I'm probably gonna watch it. But yeah, please keep that in mind. Netflix, Amazon, NBC, and so on. I don't want to name drop here, but just be aware that even Facebook, even Instagram, and so on. Please be just aware that there's always like a certain, if it goes normstream, there's always some type of like someone is bringing that to the public. These things don't happen just randomly. People think about what they do when they create something. What? You need a US address to watch it? Ooh. That makes it more interesting, because then it probably falls into there's one rule in what is happening here, right? So everyone is on a national level responsive for the UFO disclosure, right? You might not be aware of that, but there is some geo-blocking happening. So certain information that are happening in Russia, certain information that are happening in China, certain information, these things don't reach us. And apparently, if that is true, then we can't even watch this documentary outside of the US, probably not even Canada, right? That's, yeah. Lisa is saying there's much more eternal peace when you don't watch the news. Yeah, and I think that is an important thing. It's cool that we talk about these things right now. It's important to acknowledge that, because we are creating our reality field by the stuff that we are watching, right? And it's priming the reality field. It changes events and so on. And most of the stuff that people see in the news doesn't really have any relevance for their lives anyway, but it is what it is. It's a very flashy thing, and it's a way to to form dynamics in societies as well. We are entering a time where it's so much more important to be responsible for your own mindset, to be responsible for the people that you're hanging out, right? Which is there's stuff that even us in a spiritual community, which I adore that so much. I've met some amazing people here, people who came to the events, people who I met online, people who are holding our All Shift Happily Now community and so on. And they're beautiful people. It's far more beautiful to work with all of you and all of us than anything I've worked with before. Especially, thinking back like the toxicity of like certain groups and stuff, dynamics that are going on and so on. However, we are on planet Earth, right? And there can always be chaos that other people have brought into the field, knowingly or unknowingly, and we then have to react or integrate or repel these things, and that is actually one of the things that each and every ET that has talked about Earth and the Earth shift that is happening right now, they always said this one thing: you guys need to learn how how to modulate the energies. What is your preference? What do you want in life? And then everything that doesn't fit that theme, repel that. And this can range from like very easy repelling, right, to very extreme. Like, for example, the news, right? That's quite an easy thing. You might just want to switch, the channel, or just watch something that is healthy and holistic, like the stuff that we do here. But there are also things that will challenge us. Like how do we build a new Earth, right? We all know we are going there, but just going there isn't always enough. It's also like how do we organize ourselves? How do we live together in a field that that we're all striving for more harmony? And that's where we all have like a huge responsibility to ourselves first and foremost for ourselves, and then for everyone who's like part of a journey. I see that very much. It's something that is that I've been thinking about too. Like after Japan and seeing the differences in their culture and so on. I'm thinking of like, how do we change? How do we live together? And there are some things that are just not 100% sure, right? There's like emotions can come up, preferences can differ, and then people can have different opinions about certain things. And the one thing that is probably the most important thing in the universe, in a unified universe, is to realize that the value of everything is always one. Because we're all coming from one. There's nothing else in the universe than us. The universe is us. There's nothing else. So devaluing something is nonsense and must stop, But it's also something that we actively need to approach in ourselves, and getting rid of these tendencies in our own reality field. Then they don't occur with us, and we have a way to integrate them. And even when people have different opinions or have different lifestyles and so on, you can still have preferences in a unified universe. That's I guess one of the most beautiful things. The universe is so vast and so big that we can all live our lives in the way that it makes us happy, and that's amazing. We just need to realize that we are always meeting the same value. Even when we have preferences, something that we see outside of us, it's still us. It's still us. So, yeah. I want to hear you guys on that. Maybe you can post some words too. What is Luis saying? I have a huge family, very kind and loving, but none of them acknowledge or know of ETs or spirituality. I'm, on the other hand, have a thirst for information. And I don't know what AHTN means. But yeah, we noticed that. I've noticed that. I was kind of surprised, to be very honest. It's such a beautiful thing. Every time when we are together in this realm as a community, it feels so good. We know that there are these beings on the planet. They might be in Canada, they might be in Sweden, they might be in Japan, but there are beings that are actively here on this planet, and they want to strive for a more happy field. They want these things. I want these things. It's the major reason for me to do All Shift Happily Now, and I'm seeing these things happening, which is beautiful. I'm on a pretty great scale. I'm seeing that worlds are shifting, individuals are shifting, and just another one can be the last drop that changes the reality field. You just get that, right? Because it's us, it's going to happen anyway, right? We are going to shift because we want that. We're here, we're manifesting that. We see that happening on an individual level. I know so many here in the community that have experienced that in their own lives. I've experienced that in my life so many times in the last 2 years. For me, it's a personal shift to be and work with all of you. just to, heal the stuff that I was doing before. I want to be with beings in this universe that are, waking up in the morning and that are aware of whatever they do will contribute to a reality of a frequency field. And then taking in the responsibility of like saying, okay, I have this option, I have this option, which of them makes me happier? And if both of them make me happy, which one makes the field the most, the happiest? I want to be with these beings. And every single ET species has done these things. Humans, however, sometimes are known for being extravagant because they don't. But they also lots of them, lots and lots of millions and millions of people here on the planet have this intense thirst, this intense striving and hunger, and want to be spiritually in this type of like happy shifting community. And that's what we're doing. And therefore, I think it's so important that, I see myself as someone who I want to build the platform for that. And also something, and I hope that it's coming across, and I'm being very, very serious here, but when I was in Japan, this older businessman came over to me, and he had a hotel that was from 1650 or something, like crazily old, hundreds and hundreds of years old. And he came to me and he thanked me for being there, and he bowed, and he really valued my presence in his hotel. And I've been thanked many, many times for being a customer, for being a guest, for being somewhere, I hear these nonsense things on a hotline, Thank you so much for calling this hotline. Your opinion is so valuable for us. Please stay tuned, But this particular moment with this Japanese businessman who owned that hotel, which goes back to samurai time, he said, his grand 10 generations of his kids are doing that. He said they were hosting samurai when they started the hotel, older than the United States of America as a country. That's how old this hotel was. And he came over to me and he thanked me. And it was probably the most honest thank you that I've ever received from someone who I don't even know this name. And I felt so inspired in that freaking moment. I felt so inspired. And I thought, like, I value this All Shift Happily Now community, everyone here, And I want to express that too. But I also don't want to get into an extreme, I don't want to get into like an extreme micromanagement too, because I notice in the Western world, in Japan, which is so funny. I don't know. Why is that? Why is that, guys? Why is that? In Japan, when people are together in these All Shift Happily Now events, it is such an easy thing to keep these things rolling, to make everyone happy and make everyone smile. And there is a certain politeness in the Japanese culture. And in the Western world, what I've experienced sometimes is that in all contexts, schools, work, the bakery or something, that sometimes, occasions occur where people, where it's a lot about like, their presence and, kind of louder in a way and so on. And the reason why I think that is in the Western world, why, for example, kids they call puberty, right? When all kids are getting crazy and such. Other cultures don't usually have that. There are other cultures on this planet. It's not a biology factor. It's not a must-go thing that people in times of puberty just get rebellious and just, scream at the parents or, go out and do. They just don't know, right? They're just troubled and confused and frustrated. And the thing about that is, you know, everyone has experienced these moments on planet Earth, right? I've been honked at a traffic light, and it's immediately something where I'm like, why is someone honking, right? Why do we do these things to each other? And it kind of like it's a thing, an energy that kind of like sticks for you know, a little bit of time, until one says like, it's nonsense to think about that, and let's tune again into like a more of a harmonious field. And that's what I want to see. I want to see that with us. I want to see that with us as the first generation of humans and other beings, earthlings, the first generation of earthlings that are making this difference, that are thinking about, can this stream of negative energy just end in that moment? And can I continue with a more happy approach towards myself and possibly everyone in that group? And I want to see that. I want to see that. And I think we're all ready for that. I think we're all ready for that. We want that. We want to go, you know, we want to be friends with each other. It doesn't mean that we have to have the same preferences all the time, right? Some people are interested in ETs. Some people want to do the third eye activation. Some others, you know, want to improve their bodies. Some other people, you know, are into light language and so on and so on. We all do have our preferences, but whenever there's a being and they really try to increase the harmony, that has always been my personal moment of like, that's all I want to see. That's the first thing that I want to see. Okay, that's the first thing. That's the most important thing that I want to see, is like, I want to see people developing, you know, developing something that increases the harmony of the field, because it's our field. You can't, you know, it's the funny thing. You can't just throw a banana peel somewhere and say like, this is not my house. Who cares? You know, it is our house. It is our house. We are the house, you know, we are our temple. So this is something that I would want to see. And I've been actively thinking about these things for months and probably years now. And I don't blame anyone for ever having this feeling of like, oh, you know, today there is some type of emotion coming up. That's okay. We're not, spirituality doesn't mean that you have to, it doesn't mean that you have to take in certain things. I hear that from spiritual teachers too. They say like, every emotion is the same. Every emotion is good. We just accept these emotions and we just be these emotions in the very moment. And that can be okay, but it's not a generalized thing that we should teach to everyone. Because sometimes emotions occur that are not ours. There are sometimes emotions that occur that are not ours. And that can be when the phone rings, right? And then there is someone and tries to deal with the emotion they are having by forwarding that to other people. I've experienced that once or twice in my life, where people were calling and said like, this happened. This person honked at me in the parking garage. And then all that person wants is some type of relief. But what the person is doing is called co-traumatizing. And the honk at the, you know, car wash is just a minor example. I've seen that. I know that co-traumatizing can even go to extremes. But the thing is, we want to be the first generations of people that say, it's my power to just say in this very moment, I align this frequency to a higher harmony, to a harmony that is better for me in that very moment, and a harmony that is better for everyone who's involved in that very moment. And we get to develop that. That's my Tim Talk. Welcome to TED Tim Talk. Let me see. Share saying beautiful sentiments. Thank you. I think food contains too many questionable ingredients too. Yeah, I know. Here's the fun thing about ingredients. Maybe you know that, maybe you didn't, but there are covert and secret societies of humans who, throughout the history of thousands of years, just went into excluded territories, and they don't appear on maps. They are not on Wikipedia. You can't find them here and there and so on, but they still exist and they're still here. They just, dissolved and went away from the surface energy just to be a little bit secluded, and because they wanted to shift happily. It's completely understandable. But something that people that have interacted with them in the fields told me, and I found that so interesting, was that when they are going to grow trees, vegetables, or plants, everyone has their own garden. Everyone creates their own food, and they put the semen, or the seeds. They put the seeds into under the tongue in order to create a field of DNA, saliva, and the little seed that later on becomes the food. So they create something in a unified intention. And apparently, I've never experienced that, but people who have told me about that, is when they were there in these societies and they were picking up vegetables. When two people are, man and woman or whatever, they are living together in a house and they have two little gardens. They said the same carrots tasted 100% differently if they ate it from that carrot garden that was for the wife, or from the carrot garden for the husband. And what they apparently figured out is that when you go in communication with your food starts to produce things that are good for you. It's so beautiful. Why is this not a kid's experiment, right? Kids do these experiments with plants where they're like talking to them, and then then they figure out and are super amazed by the fact that when you talk to a plant, it suddenly grows 10 times better. Think about what that means. Think about what it means when we put stuff into our food. Gosh, this turned into a TED Talk. Luis is saying higher harmony. To hold space. That's when you need to remember to hold space. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Gosh, guys and folks, like the comment section is so beautiful. You have so wonderful ideas, relying on humor when encountering a negative situation, gratitude, attitude, spread love and light. Beautiful. Oh, that's interesting. I had my son do this with the apple seeds. We just need to plant them now. Ooh, I'd be so interested. I'd be very interested. I do that all the time. PC93 is saying, ever since you mentioned Lebensform 6, which is the German translation, so for being 6, I've been obsessed with it, but I can't find any reliable info. You find bits and traces of them everywhere, right? That's something that's undeniable. But there's also something in like a level 6 reality where there are so many different narratives, so many different identities that all mix in, that they don't even have a name, right? So I've always found like the idea of calling them LF6, Lebensform 6, life form 6, being 6. I always found that so off in a little way, because they didn't have that type of nomenclature. They didn't have a name or something. The only thing, and that is something that I found really interesting, is when they appear on this planet, because of the physics behind that. We have a certain frequential range that changes the way that colors work and so on. Different frequencies have different colors and so on, and they are on a different frequency. So when we see them, they always appear in a blue light. We don't know if they are fully blue or if they are showing themselves as like something we can see, but they are always blue-skinned. And we have so much evidence about blue-skinned beings in Sumeria, in Egypt. Hindus talk about them, right? Everything they've received about Krishna and Shiva and so on, like Krishna and Vishnu, they're all blue-skinned beings. Every time someone is collaborating with me on All Ship Happily Now from like the speakers, I tell you there's always one thing that makes me smile. They are going to tell me, I had an ET encounter. And that's when I'm starting to smile because I already know what's coming. I ask them, well, was it blue-skinned? And they're like, yes, it was a blue-skinned being. And I saw that in Nochi's video again, right? When they were saying it was like they look like humans, but they have blue skin. Semi, Hager, other people, everyone have, they're all talking about blue-skinned beings. And that is something where I'm noticing, okay, there is a field where we are all coming from. And this field is something we are growing into. And it's not as much as they are reaching back to us, but we are actively approaching them as well. We are growing into each other. Being Six told us in the project, we have sent 500 million people of our own family onto planet Earth. And they're all here to shift this planet happily. They are here because they have empathy with the beings that are on planet Earth, and because we think that they do not 100% deserve what they are doing on planet Earth. And then we came to this planet in order to balance something. And the sad part about the story is that everyone who's part of the Earth experience will always get a little bit of chaos as an experience throughout their lives until they are above that, right? We've all experienced that. It's one thing that we should all align with is there's no one on planet Earth who lives 100% the perfect, harmonious life always. Can't be. Because if they did, they would be zoning out of Earth. Because Earth is a mixed reality. It's a mixed planet reality. There's chaos, there's great things, and it's for us to learn, again, the number one thing every ET is telling you, it's for us to learn how to navigate that space. It's needed. Some people would say, oh, well, I'm just, one day everyone's going to die and then everything is going to be better. This is the foundation. Things are going to be better, but we learn something here. And we're here to take on a little bit of all that craziness. And then because we have this foundation, because we remember where we're coming from, we know that we have the power inside of us. We just unlock this and then it's there. And with this, we can help the planet. We can help our own life first, and then we can help the whole planet. And there's no difference either in any way, right? That's the fantastic thing about that. And that's also the reason why no one can say like, oh yeah, we don't care. You can't say that. We can go into preferences and we can say like, Earth doesn't exist for me anymore. I'm going into this direction. That is possible. It's doable. Beings have done that. And it's one of the reasons why there are so many other beings who are just watching, or even beings that say like, I don't care. Whatever the Earth people are doing, I don't care. Have a nice life. But ultimately, there is the reality that we are all one unified reality. We are one, not one reality, but we are one universal life form. There's just one. It's just one life form. And what we do contributes to the benefit of that life form, or to, you know, or not. Wolfmother 369 is saying many starseeds do not realize they are starseeds. It's the number one thing. It's the number one thing that what's that? Anna's saying, I still can't believe that about that there are about 500 million starseeds. Where are they all? I've hardly met any so far. The majority must still be children. I don't think the majority is children. I think, and we know that this would happen, Being Six told us that. They said, when we all came to this planet with hundreds and millions of people, 500 millions, when we came to this planet, we knew that in the very moment when we zone into this, effects will take place. We will see and experience time differently. Suddenly we have a linear string, and we will experience ourselves differently. We will not experience ourselves as like a unified cloud of reality as Being Six experience themselves. We're going to experience ourselves in individualized bodies. And then these things come with amazing amounts of decisions that we have to take and responsibilities. So one thing that Being Six told us was, we are aware that in the very moment when we go to planet Earth, we are going to become Earthlings, and we fall under the reality field of Earth until we grow into becoming the stirrer, the one who's coordinating one's own reality field. And that's something that, you know, takes time for certain beings, and some beings will not make it. That's the crazy thing. From these 500 million people on planet Earth who are from this, you know, you could say starseed or this, you know, more experienced form of life, not all of them will notice that they are, because it's so easy to look into the mirror and think that they are humans. It's so easy to think that. And then also to think like that something might be wrong with them, you know? Some people look into the mirror and think like, oh, this world doesn't fit at all to who I am. And there's this nice quote that I've read sometimes on social media, when they say like, hey, when you don't fit into this reality field, then you are here in order to build a new one. That's what we do. That's what we're doing. And it takes a little bit of like adjustment, goodwill, nice energy, and responsibility for ourselves and our energies as well. And you're extremely appreciated for doing that as well. Each and every one. If only like one person more is activated, that can be the critical mass that we need in order to shift everything. And the wonderful thing, it's going to shift anyway with every person. We're not waiting for that one person, right? It's not like in the biblical times anymore, where we're all waiting for that one savior that might come and says like, I'm back from Seniors B. I'm the Messiah, and now we're gonna shift this or something. It is more that while we are shifting, step by step, peu à peu, right? Everyone will more and more move into a frequency where they change their own lives, and then that has effects on the reality field. And at one point, it goes extremely fast, because then we have reached the critical mass. The critical moment where the Greats would call that the oplossing, right? It's a Dutch word. Gabby, hi, good to see you. It's so nice. Stephen saying we're doing that. It's happening. Yes. PC93. Since primary school, he or she, I don't know, saw this primate body as weird and could never fully identify with it. So cool. Gosh, you are very, very appreciated, all of you. And for me, I see my role in, like, I want to provide the stuff that people need in order to make decisions. I don't want to take away their decisions. You know, I've noticed that way too much in the projects and other things where it's about, and it's part of my own shift to get that out of my system as well, right? Where it's like about, like, how can we make people do this? You know, I sometimes even get the question, Tim, how do we shift these other people who don't know? Well, we don't. We shift ourselves, and we're gonna make it so nicely that other people are gonna look at that and say, like, he or she is doing well. That's great. Let's be inspired and learn what you know, what's going on, so people can play all these roles. It's really, really beautiful. Antonia, there goes my tea. We got that on camera, right? Either way. Oh my gosh, that's on camera, everyone. That's on camera. That used to be a keyboard. Okay, Antonia is saying, I like that, Tim. If you don't feel like you fit in, then you are here to change it and fit. Yes, beautifully said. Yeah. And we're doing that. We are doing this. We are doing this as like an ownership happening in our community. There will be moments when we need to readjust, when we need to just take a breath and just, you know, readjust to the inner compass that we have. And that's the beauty. It will always succeed. It will always go into the right direction. But it's our responsibility and the greatest joy that we can do to realize, hey, like, we can choose for happiness. It's becoming a habit. It's becoming something that we can learn. And I see my role as, like, I want to give people the insights, the information that they need. I'm not only, you know, spreading information on ETs or something. I'm not a whistleblower. The reality field doesn't even fully need ETs. That's the crazy thing. That's my opinion too. I value and appreciate every form of life that is, like, contributing to the harmonious field. And there are billions. The majority of every single being in the universe already does that. It's already happening, right? There are localized effects where it might not, but ultimately it's happening already, and we're all on that pathway. So I appreciate these beings, but ultimately it wouldn't be even needed, just by realizing that we can choose happiness and we can choose bliss. That's what I want to provide, and I want to provide it for myself, and I want to provide it for us as well. So that is something that we're going to do in the next month when the new platform comes up. We can share some stuff and some information, like, you know, the Amazon documentary and such, that can travel so much faster. And maybe even, you know, we can upload clips or something that is fair use, and share things online with the community. So I want to get away from social media feeds where it's like, ooh, a penguin baby, that's so fun. Ooh, that's a cool video. And then, like, almost always, like, the third, fourth, fifth video on these public things is kind of disturbing. It's kind of like something coming up on these social media feeds, where I'm thinking, like, why do they put that into the algorithm? Like, why? I didn't sign up for that. That's nothing I want to have. So let's change that. Michael is saying, I didn't know Messiah was from Sirius B. Nice. You know, something about the Messiah thing is that other species have the same story. I mean, we're approaching Christmas, right? They have the same freaking story. They don't call it Christmas, but they have their own Jesus story too, which is very interesting. It seems to be like a cosmic Messiah thing. So probably, if you're listening from Sirius B right now, I have the major déjà vu saying that, by the way. Tell us your story. Maybe you have your own Jesus. might look like an octopus, or like a dolphin, but it would be the same thing. Margine, what a cool name. I really appreciate this content, Tim. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, this is beautiful, Antonia. She's saying that in the last 5 years, she's lost a lot of friends because they think it's nuts what we are discussing. But recently she gained one son and one daughter who finally came around, and they're all listening. That's so beautiful. That means you either like reunion, you have a reunion with family, or you have just gave birth or something and have a new son and a new daughter. Anyway, it's beautiful. Nonetheless, it's amazing, and that's gonna happen. And the weird thing about that, it's something that I had to learn too, communicating with all of you, because in my life, no one ever had doubt. It's like even the carpenter that was doing stuff in my old house with the house that I used to live in. He was like building like cabinets and stuff for me, and he even said to me, like, Tim, when I'm with you, I think he didn't say in my reality field, but he meant that. He said, like, whenever I'm here, it's like it's just I have to think about these things. I have to think about like what reality is like, and the universe and God and ETs and all of that. So it's clear. It's something that we carry in our reality field, and my goal is that in the next 2 years, everyone has friends around them that support them on the spiritual growth. And I want to build the right platform for that. I want to build the right community for that. I don't want to micromanage you, okay? I don't want to micromanage me or anything too much. I don't want to tell people how they're going to live their life, which is something that a religion would do, or like certain projects or something. What I want to do is like I want to give like a platform where where people can meet, where they can meet as friends, as cosmic beings, and just acknowledge each other, and help each other, support each other. Because every time that you meet someone who's not telling you, oh, this is all nuts, every time you meet someone who's saying like, I saw that too, every time that happens, a little part in your own reality field just shifts over to a new reality. It's not that these people that you're meeting are actually telling you, oh, this is a reality that's nuts and so on. There is a little part inside of potentially you who's creating these people who are thinking that it's nuts. But the more you are shifting, and you already told us that so beautifully, Antonia saying she has them as adult children, that is a convincer moment right here. That is a moment where your reality has shifted, not only into ET realities, but overall. I don't want to, just shift the reality into like, hey, now we have ET disclosure and that's it. That's not the goal. The goal is that we all become aware of like, oh my God, the universe gives us choices, and these choices mean we can either go into a way where we don't prefer it, or we go into a way where we prefer life, and suddenly life becomes a home, right? With friends and social members and people all around us who see it the same way. And it's a gradual shift. But Antonia, it's happening. It is happening with your children, adult children, reuniting with you. Yeah. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful story. And it's so important for us to acknowledge these moments of shifting, right? Don't get stuck with like people who think it's that, the reality is so, and it never can go here. No, surround yourself with people who say like, Look there. Look how beautiful this is. We can shift into this happiness privately, personally, with our families, with our friends, and then everyone. It's like flowers, like little lotus flowers on an ocean, like a sea, or I don't know, like a pond or something. These things are multiplying and growing, and the surface keeps like being covered with them. And the fascinating thing, and I always keep that in mind because it says so much about exponential growth, it takes days and days and days for a single flower to spread into like many, many others. And then the whole pond, the half of the pond is covered with these lotus flowers. And you know how much time it then takes for the whole thing to be covered? Just one more step, because everything else is then multiplying, and from half it goes to full. So that's exponential growth. That's how quickly it goes. It can take, it can multiply, and it can take, I don't know, 3-5 years or something for half of a pond to grow together. But then it's just one more day, and then it's happening. It's just beautiful. The universe is a success story, and we are part of that. We love Tim Talk. That's my TED Talk today. Thank you for guidance and facilitating the shift. Happy shifting, everyone. Similar features to 5 people near, and you have a feature, create local event, and people near will be notified. Yeah, we do have. We're gonna call these things gardens, because everyone who's been with us in Ticket to Ride, we actually wanted to do, Sarah and I, we wanted to do a Ticket to Ride before Christmas, and we just couldn't do it. I'm currently, leveling everything for us up so much. But everyone who's been in Ticket to Ride knows that we always say, we got to build a perfect garden. We got to build a perfect garden, and then we invite people. And that's something that we're going to do on the next new platform. Everyone gets their own garden, and we can share things. I know that people are excited about things. I know we have fantastic artists in this community. We have intense and beautiful musicians in this community. Stuff that I love. It's for me, it's very clear, like, oh my gosh, I'm creating a space for people that I enjoy. I love artists, I love musicians, and we have some big names. That's the coolest stuff too. Like we have world famous artists in the Orchard Papelino community. We have legendary musicians, some who you know the names of, and some where I'm just thinking like, wow, that's so cool. This person, it's like 300 million views on their last CD, and they're part of All Shift Happily Now. That's how global this is becoming. That is fantastic. I freaking love that. So I want people to be able to share that, Like I want to see that. I want to see, for example, Michelle, our Golden Ticket winner, when she's doing tattoo art. I want to see that. I want to Greg, and other people. So many cool people that are doing all these things. I want them to show their stuff. I want them to connect. I want also a visible sign, Yeah. Social media don't always show our videos to everyone, right? It's just an algorithm kind of thing, and but there are amazing. There are so many amazing people, and it's so important to visually even see that. That's also why I'm reading. I love reading that. I love that there's people from Flemish Belgium, from Sweden, from Australia, just waking up just here. They're sitting here. You are sitting here in Australia. It's 8 a.m. in the morning. You probably, there's people that walk their dogs at 5 a.m. and hold a phone so they can watch this or watch a replay of all of this. And it's so amazing. It is so amazing for us to notice that, to see, oh my gosh, there are people that are striving forward to create reality fields where they 100% feel good in. I want these people. Apparently I am with these people. I'm freaking happy about that. That's my personal shift. And that's freaking beautiful. And I was so surprised that there are still many people in our community that don't have that just don't know who to talk with when they see an orb, that don't know who to ask for information on how to, activate certain psychic skills, that do not know who to talk with about certain spiritual energies going on in their body, because not everyone can give them, the certain advices that they need. And that happens in families, right? We all have that on Christmas Eve when we're going to sit with our family. And then we're like, well, guys, there's a Booga sphere. It's flying. It's metal, but it's flying through air as a as a round ball without wings. And then you got to look into people's faces. Been there, done that. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Americans are still ignoring congressional hearings on UFOs and are burying heads in sands. Yeah, well, at least there are congressional hearings. That's pretty cool. Anna says, I haven't put up the Agora from September. I thought I did. Wasn't that our last one? What is November, September, October, November? Oh, that one is missing. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, the thing about that is like in September, because the platform is going to be going to have Agora on it and Star on it too, and so on. I want people to be more fluid in things, I want them to train together too, which is a beautiful thing. And in September we started working on that, and I thought like, we're gonna launch that in just a few weeks, and then I didn't upload it anymore. Because I thought like, in 3 weeks we're gonna move, but it's a lot of coding and web app stuff and so on, and we're working on that. But yeah, I'm gonna upload that 100%, and then once we move to the new platform, it's gonna be tabula rasa, and we need to start again, but then it's going to be really cool. I actually appreciate Agora a lot, because we have these kinds of talks, and also seeing you guys and hearing your questions and talking to you about all these things. Who in the world has an Agora? That thing that stems from ancient Greek times, where people coming together talking about things in order to explore the universe. People that had insights, right? There was like a time where people that had UFO disclosures or meetings or something, there was a time when people came together and they could talk about these things. It's really fascinating. And then history changed, the Greek society changed, and so on. And I think it's so much more important that we have these things again, that we talk about and exchange what we have here. Beautiful. Cindy saying, hi from Canada. I get visits from a blue being, but I don't know what is discussed. I'm a little, what's the Oli bus driver? Yeah, a lot of people get contacted by blue beings. I would almost say that's our family. That's our home calling, right? It's our home calling. It's our home calling. Anyway, everyone, we are approaching the 2-hour mark very, very soon. I want to do a meditation later too, in just a few moments. So we can all tune into a good effect. And every time I'm doing these community lives, to be honest, I have so much workload right now, but every time we're doing that, it feels so nice, and especially after the meditation, it's always like something that I'm so happy after that. It's such a good energy. Oh, Gracie thing, all means old. Oh yeah, I've seen that on old sites. Danny thing, love the Agora talks and the star exercise. Thank you so much. Did you notice, by the way, the star exercises? We changed that too. Like last month, we had the first one that is going to be. So for everyone who doesn't know that, we do mental exercises. Every month, different exercises to train different aspects. And for the new platform, we're going to have categories. So we're going to have like what affects the body, what is just for relaxation and uplifting, what is strengthening our field. It's going to be amazing, because the idea behind that is I want to have like a library with all these exercises. And when you're a star member, you just type in what you want to do and what you want to focus your mind on. And then you do these mental exercises, and then life changes. I have so much experience with these mental exercises, and they are freaking amazing. I'm doing them myself, and I can only tell you, when you train with these things, life changes. You get phone calls from the right people, things are just aligning nicely. You even get new features, new skills, and new things. So it's really cool. So yeah. Hi, Free From Illusion. Love that. So good. Is there a place or website that tells us about what you are doing? Yes, there is. It is allshifthappily.now.com. There we go. It's also, before we wrap this really nice thing up, I don't want to, it's so sweet with everyone here. Sign up on allshifthappily.now.com for the Activate event in December 29th. But the event is already on. You have to put in your email, your name, and so on, and then put in a register thing, and then you get email reminders too, and so on. And we're going to do some really interesting third eye activation. So it's becoming really magical, and I think that is something that I'm personally interested in. That I want to see that. I want to explore some of the mysteries and magical things that I know how to do them. But I personally never had the motivation to do them myself, because I thought, like, why do people want to levitate? We could just walk, But I'm thinking, like, why not? Let's train that all together. Let's train some of these psychic things with each other, and everyone's going to find something that they're going to want to focus on. And with each and every one of us experiencing these changes, right? It's going to change the reality field. It's like this 1,000 monkey thing, right? So allshifthappily.now.com, and then we're gonna do that. Senvel XRP is saying, mental exercises, who was your teacher? How did you learn it? That's a great question, because I didn't have a teacher, and I was always a little bit I've never actually looked actively for teachers or something like that. I've been in the projects. There's training for psionic exercises. Some of them are computer supported, so instead of organic beings that are sharing something with you and showing you this is possible in the reality, you're basically doing that half with a computer that is supporting you on that stuff and giving you like feedback and so on. It was kind of cool. I gotta be honest. But it's all stuff that we can do organically, and ultimately you have to do it organically. It's like these little wheels that you put onto a bike. in order to ride it. And one time, at one point, you don't need them anymore, and then you ride the bike yourself. So and then lots of ET contact that were definitely insights coming through too. Very, very interesting things. It's a fascinating thing, stuff. Like nowadays, for example, because more and more ETs are knowing what we're doing, sometimes I get insights from or messages or comments or something from other sources, and some people are, for example, giving me mental exercises that I'm then incorporating and passing forward to you. For example, one thing that occurred in meditation a few weeks ago, I was in meditation, and then I don't know if you guys have activated these types of things when you see the being with your closed eyes being in front of you, right? It's a fascinating experience too. And my first initial thing was, I was just coming back from a restaurant, and I thought, like, without thinking, I thought, like, I'm gonna send the message of like how the food tasted that I had, because it was amazing food, right? It's my favorite restaurant, so I was sharing this taste that I still had as a memory. I gave that as a psionic expression over to the being that I saw in meditation, and the being then sent me a message and said, like, hey, this is something you can build and teach other people in your mental exercises. And they were showing me how we can create an energy field that goes from the inside and basically uplifts our whole body. So like we are almost like a doll that we're like pumping up or something. Or like a balloon or something. That was like kind of the exercise that they were showing, and then I'm with Star. It's like, again, I want to build this library. It doesn't really have like a specific lineup. It's not meant to be done like first Monday, second Monday, third Monday. It's something you can dial in when you're saying like, oh, today I feel like I want to strengthen my body. And then that would be like a mental exercise where you can, upcoming in the platform, you can search these things and then train with that up to a point where you feel like, oh, wow, I've stabilized something in my body. I feel better in my body, for example. But many of these things. So I think the universe is teaching us everywhere. Okay. Beautiful. Hi, Jen. Thank you, Tim, and everyone here. This is exactly what I needed today. Also happening now. Beautiful. You are all amazing. You are all amazing. And I think we're going to take the last 10 minutes here and we're going to do a nice meditation all together. But before we're going to do that, one more time, the reminder that right after this, go to All Shift Happily Now and sign up for the activation event. That's going to be super, super cool, super special. Okay. Everyone, let's go and do meditation all together. Let me put in the music. Grace is asking, how often do you do these live streams? Once a month, on every 25th. And next month, I'm not going to be, it's not going to be only me. I'm going to go back into hosting mode. And I'm going to invite all my spiritual teacher friends. And we're going to do like a nice Christmas stream. 3 hours, 4 hours. We'll see. It's going to be great. Amen. Okay, everyone. For everyone who's new to the All Shift Happily Now community lives, every 25th on YouTube, Instagram, and very soon allshifthappily.now.com as well. we're going to do a meditation at the end, because it's just a great moment for us all to go into a meditative state of mind, to do something for us. So if you'd like to join us in this meditation, I would like to invite you to find a cozy spot, find any type of anything that you need in order to make it comfy, put a blanket on. It's going to be 5 minutes of quick meditation, but we're doing that all together. So find a comfy spot. If you want to, have your eyes closed, and we are dialing into meditative state together. I want to do a quick exercise before we go even deeper into meditation, where we have our eyes closed, and let's do 2 breaths all together. But the breath that we're going to do is we breathe out and we go into the full nothingness as much as we can, realizing what a wonder it is that we are all existing, that we're all here, that there is no real nothingness in the universe anymore and ever again. So let's breathe out into that. And when we breathe into ourselves, I want us all to imagine that we have all these light particles all around us, especially blue light particles, because I believe that we're all part of being 6, and I want us all to connect with our highest selves too. So breathe out, and we go into nothingness, experiencing the wonder, breathing in. Make yourself glow, make your energy glow. So let's do it. Breathe out. Realize that we are all in this universe, that there is no nothingness, and then breathe in. And make your energy and your vibrations, your protons, every light particle in all your body cells, make them glow into the world in your own reality. And we do it one more time. Breathe out. And then breathe in. And while we breathe in, let's expand the energy everywhere, all in this room, in your house, in your reality field, and then across the whole collective field that we have. Let's do it one more time. Breathe out. And breathe in. And make your particles, your photons, your light, make it glow into the most beautiful blue color you can think of. And then come to a calming moment. Feel yourself relaxed. Feel and see that there are shifters, people that are right now with us, and thousands and thousands of people who are watching this later, the replay. And we're all connecting in this meditation all together. We're all part of building a new, creative, collective reality field, making our own lives more beautiful so that others get more interested, and then they will start making their lives more beautiful. They shift happily. Dive into how beautiful life can be once we have accomplished this. And dive into how beautiful life becomes along the way. It's not something we're waiting for to happen. It is something we're approaching each and every time that we are meditating, each and every time that we are saying all shift happening now together. See the shift. See how your life improves, either gently, maybe radically, maybe in waves. That's okay. It's all process. It's all progress. It all goes into the right direction. It's just important that we do the steps. It's just important that we repeat these things, that we become more and more capable of taking influence on our own reality field and making this the home that we want to be in, with beautiful beings, with beautiful other earthlings that want to shift with us, with beautiful, wonderful ET beings that want to shift with us. We're all part of this one God being, this one source being, this one universe. And as such, we are building our reality. We just have to make the right decisions, the right moments, shifting this field, shifting the frequency. And while we are all together here, so many of us, let's send that to each other, send that to ourselves, send that to the community, to everyone here. See them lightening up in this blue light. See them lightening up and knowing that there are countless other species that already have put in the work to become harmonized in their own fields. And they are so much cheering for us to become harmonized as well, to harmonize our own reality and the reality of the field. Imagine how wonderful, how beautiful your life is going to be the more this is happening. You become more and more aware and more like confident in creating your reality field, harmonizing it, striving for what brings you happiness, what brings you love, what brings you joy, connecting with your family, your loved ones, with new friends that are making you in this ocean. And it all keeps growing, becoming more and more nice the more we walk on this path. Since I don't have anyone to pass this on, we're already completing this mental exercise, or this meditation with each other. I'm already in mental exercise now. So gently take in this beautiful energy that we all formed. Bring it all over us, all over our bodies, ourselves, our confidence, our inner selves, and take it with it. Take it with you. Take it with us, like every one of us is supposed to carry this beautiful energy for days and weeks to come until we see each other again and create and refresh this together. And usually we do an all shift happily now together, but currently I'm on this by myself. So I just rely on all of you, being wherever you are. Speak to your reality field. Tell it to shift happily. Let's do that together in 3, and 2, and 1. Oh, shift happily. That was beautiful, everyone. Wow. Okay, so come back and open your eyes so that we can conclude this wonderful life all together. Twilight Summer Breeze is asking, where do I find that meditation music? This one is actually a free one that is from Leroy something. It's a very famous artist who's making a lot of music. Not sure. I might put it in the description or something. I'm saying these are exciting times. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Okay. That's it, everyone. This is it. November Cozy Magical live stream. I hope you all enjoyed that as much as I did. I appreciate you so much. We are the first generations of beings on Earth that makes things so much better. Shift all of this. So with all that being said, see you soon. And bye-bye, everyone, and see you next month.